Good morning, friends. In the last lecture, we have seen elevation in the boiling point. We have proved that it is a colligative property. Then we have derived the equation delta TB is equal to KB into M. Then we have shown that graphically that the elevation in the boiling point of the solvent due to the addition of non-volatile solute. Then we have related the molar mass of the solid with the molar elevation constant. Today we are going to continue the similar part but by changing the elevation in the boiling point. Today we are going to discuss depression of the freezing point. Whatever we have seen in case of the elevation in the boiling point, same principle and the concept we are going to apply over the depression in the freezing point. We all should know first of all what is the freezing point. Which are the questions? First of all, I will highlight these questions. So that thermodynamically the depression of freezing point is colligative property or derive from thermodynamic principle the relation delta TF is equal to KF into. Also graphically the diffraction of the freezing point of the solvent due to the addition of the non-volatile solute, or obtained an expression correlating molar mass of the solid with the depression in the freezing point. In the last time we have seen same things. Now we have to see this is for the freezing point. While talking about the freezing point, as you know, what is first of all we have to talk regarding the what is the freezing point. Freezing point is nothing but freezing point of a liquid is a temperature at which the vapor pressure of the liquid becomes equal to that of the solid into which the liquid freezes under an external pressure of 1 atmosphere. This is the definition of the freezing point. Please prepare it well. Now, when the non-volatile electrolyte is dissolved in a solvent, the vapor pressure of the solvent is lowered. Consequently, the solution freezes at temperature below the freezing point in the pure solvent. It can be seen from the graph of the vapor pressures versus temperature. First of all, remember the definition of the freezing point. What is the freezing point of a liquid? Is nothing but a temperature at which the vapor pressure of a liquid becomes equal to that of the solid into which the liquid freezes under an external pressure of 1 atm, 1 atmosphere. See, this is the vapor pressure curve. Here just the small changes has been done. You can see CD, this line, this diagram you have to draw. Curve AB, that curve AB is the sublimation curve of the solid solvent. Curve CD is the vapor pressure curve of the pure liquid solvent. Curve EF is the vapor pressure curve of solution. This CD and EF both are the vapor pressure of the respective component, and AB is the sublimation curve. T0 is the freezing point of the pure solvent. The depression of the freezing point of solvent is given by delta TF is equal to T0 minus T. Because T0 will be the greater, T will be the less, there is a depression in the freezing point. Let it correspond to the vapor pressure of solid and the pure liquid solvent at T0. Let P be the vapor pressure of the solid solvent and the solution at temperature T. Let P0 be the vapor pressure of the supercooled pure liquid at temperature T point, that is related at the point G. Since point B and G lies on the vapor pressure curve of the pure solvent according to the Clapeyron-Clausius equation, that you have to remember, you have to apply the Clapeyron-Clausius equation for this B and G point. Here PS and P0 is there, T0 and T coordinates are there. That coordinates are very much important, that you have to remember. ln PS by P0 is equal to delta HV by R in bracket 1 minus 1 upon T minus 1 upon T0. This is for the B and G points. Then we have to apply then ln ps upon p0 is equal to delta hv by r in bracket t0 minus t upon tt0, where delta hv is nothing but the heat of vaporization of pure solvent, point B and E lies. Similarly, now we have to apply it for the B and E. Then according to the Clapeyron-Clausius equation, ln ps by p is equal to delta hs upon r in bracket 1 upon t minus 1 upon t0. ln ps by p is equal to delta hsr in bracket t0 minus t upon t0. This is the equation number 3, and upper one was the equation number 2. Delta hs is nothing but a heat of sublimation of the solid. There was the heat of vaporization. On subtracting equation number 2 from the equation number 3, you will get delta ps upon p minus equation 2 from equation 3, means delta that this equation will be subtracted from this equation. That's why ln ps upon p minus ln ps upon p0 is equal to delta hsr in bracket t0 upon minus t upon tt0 minus delta hv divided by r in bracket t0 minus t upon tt0 in bracket complete. When you simplify this thing, ln ps minus ln p minus ln ps plus ln p0, ln ps will get cancelled. Left thing will be the ln p0 minus ln p is equal to, see, 1 upon r is constant, t minus t0 in bracket t minus t, t0 minus t upon tt0 in bracket delta hs minus delta hv. Delta hs minus delta hv is nothing but a delta hf, that is the heat of fusion. ln p0 minus ln p is equal to delta hf upon r in bracket that things. Then ln p0 upon p is equal to delta hf by r in bracket t0 minus t upon tt0. This is the equation number 4. Then ln p upon p0 is equal to minus delta hf. Now we have did that, p0 was in the numerator, we have exchanged that. Then minus delta hf upon r in bracket delta tf upon tt0. For dilute solution, you know t approximately equal to t0. Therefore, the ln p upon p0 is equal to minus delta hf upon r into delta tf upon t0 square. According to the Raoult's law, as we know, all know, p is equal to x1 p0, or say p upon p0 is equal to x1. P upon p0 is equal to 1 minus x2, that is equal to, you know, the x1 plus x2 is equal to 1. Therefore, taking the log on the both side, ln p upon p0 is equal to ln1 minus x2. On comparing the 5 and 6, we will get ln1 minus x2 is equal to minus delta hf, or that things. Then ln1 minus x2 approximately is equal to minus x2. Then you will get delta tf is equal to rt0 delta hf into x2. Remember that delta tb was there, and here it was a delta hv. Remember this thing, same things are there. For any given solvent, rt0 delta hf is constant. Therefore, this delta tf, depression in the freezing point, is directly proportional to the mole fraction of the solute and independent upon the nature of the solute. Hence, it is a colligative property. Why it is a colligative property? Remember this reason always. Don't confuse in between that. You got this point. What we have did, we have applied this Clapeyron-Clausius equation for the two coordinate system. One was the B and G, and another one was the B and E. Okay, then we got this, we have subtracted this equation, whatever the second and the third equation, we have subtracted equation number 2 from the equation number 3. Then we have got the equation number 4, ln p0 upon p is equal to delta hf upon r t0 minus t upon tt0. Then we have exchanged that p0 and p. Then we got the ln p upon p0 is equal to minus delta hf upon r in bracket t delta tf upon tt0. t0 minus t is nothing but the delta tf. For dilute solution, temperature is T approximately equal to T0. That's why the T0 square we have taken. Then according to the Raoult's law, we have seen P upon P0 is equal to 1 minus x2. Taking log on both sides, we have got this ln P upon P0 is equal to ln 1 minus x2, that we have seen. Then on comparing the equation number 5 and 6, you got ln 1 minus x2 is equal to minus delta hf upon r into delta tf upon t0 square. For dilute solution, then we have seen that ln 1 minus x2 approximately equal to minus x2. Therefore, we have substituted for that. Then minus x2 is equal to minus delta hf r up into delta tf upon t0 square. Therefore, delta tf is equal to rt0 square upon delta hf into x2. For any given solvent, rt0 delta hf are constant. Hence, the diffraction of the freezing point of the solvent is directly proportional to the mole fraction of the solute and independent on the nature of the particular solute. Hence, the diffraction of the freezing point is the colligative property. Now we have to see that mole fraction of the solid is given by x2 is nothing but n2 upon n1 plus n2. n1 plus n2 approximately equal to n1 because for the dilute solution n1 is greater than n2. Therefore, x is equal to n2 by n1. Equation 7 becomes delta TF is equal to RT0 square upon delta HF into n2 by n1. Further part is similar to the molar elevation constant. Remember this thing, don't confuse in between that. Again, the substitution is that you can substitute for the number of moles of this solid, number of moles of the solvent, then you will get delta TF is equal to RT0 upon delta HF, RT0 square upon delta HF into W2 W1 divided by M2 M1. W2 by M2, W by 1 by M1, W2 by M2 divided by now after substituting this we will get equation. Please follow the last time equation. Then delta TF is equal to RT0 square upon LF into W2 upon M2 W1. Delta HF upon M1 is nothing but a latent rate of fusion. Then you will get delta TF is equal to RT0 LF into M upon 1000 because we have compared it with this particular in terms of the molality. This is the small m. Here should be the small m. Please note this point. Okay. Then delta TF is equal to K into M. Then you can substitute it and you can call this. You can write it in terms of the molar mass of this particular thing. Chiroscopic constant, it is called as the chiroscopic constant or say diffraction constant, molar diffraction constant. It can be defined as diffraction in the freezing point of the 1 kilogram of solvent when the 1 mole of the solid is added to the solvent. That is the diffraction of freezing point of 1 molar solution. Then the molecular weight determination, same formula is there as were earlier. Instead of the Kf there was a Kb. Okay, remember these things. It is very simple equation. Please prepare both these equations simultaneously, then and then only you can cover this part very easily. Both the equations are similar, just a small changes there in these equations. Please prepare it well. You know molecular weight determination from delta TF. Again you have to take delta TF is equal to Km into M. Then you have to substitute for the molality. Molality is nothing but a W2 by M2, W1 into 1000. Then delta TF is equal to Kf into W2 by M2, W1 into 1000. Then M2 is equal to Kf, W2 upon delta TF into W1 into 1000. The molecular weight can be determined by knowing the value of Kf. Okay. You can now calculate this molar mass by using this equation very easily. Please practice the equation for the number of times. Both the equations are similar. Their diagrams are little bit different, but you can remember simultaneously. You have to plot both the diagrams for practicing. Definition of the ebullioscopic constant and the chiroscopic constant you have to remember. Similar definitions are there. Elevation in the boiling point of the 1 molar solution or say diffraction of the freezing point of the 1 molar solution. You can remember it is for the MCQ purpose of view. Please practice the equations. Both equations are the same again and again I am saying. Okay, please practice well. If you are practicing well, then you will not suffer any problem. You have to do it well. Please do this practice of these derivations very well. If you are having any difficulty, any problem, you can freely ask me on the Telegram group or say here on Google Classroom, or you can call me also. Please go through these lectures very well. If you are not getting any step, you can freely ask me. Don't hesitate to ask any difficulties, because when you ask your difficulty, then you can remember this part very well. Please prepare these questions. These are the important questions as the exam point of view. Please prepare it well. Today we will stop here. and we will continue next part in the next lecture.